Hello, CEO. Welcome back to the CEO Crowd podcast. I'm your coach and host, Rebecca Nesbitt, and today we'll be going through a few pieces of advice that I got from some of my entrepreneurial friends. So, if you currently do not have any entrepreneurial friends, then first of all, we can help you fix that. But second of all, I know how hard it is in the beginning. I was fortunate that when I started my first business, I was in network marketing. So I had a lot of people around me who were entrepreneurial minded and spirited. But once I left that network marketing company, I really didn't have anyone. I kind of made a go of blogging. It didn't really go very well. I would literally blog once a week by myself, and it was usually around like yoga or business. And then I would have other female entrepreneurs and I would feature them. So, like the OG days of guest blogging. And I remember when I finally kind of took the site down and I had nothing entrepreneurial that I was working on, and I was just in my 9 to 5 job, how empty my life felt. And it was such an effort to like claw my way back into entrepreneurialism because I didn't have the friendships to support it at that point. Everyone that was in the network marketing company was kind of in the network marketing company and couldn't understand why I had chosen that wasn't my path. So, like, absolutely no shade, but they had things they were working on that didn't align with what I was doing, and it just didn't make sense. So, a lot of those friendships kind of fell apart. I think if any of them messaged me today, I'd be like, oh, let's jump on a call. Like, what's going on? Like, tell me everything in life. Like, it wasn't bad. I think that that's really important to say. It wasn't like a dramatic, like, we can't be friends because you're not part of our club. But it's just you're working on different goals, you're working on different things, and you move apart. And I think this is very common for, when you leave school, when you leave college or university or a job, and you find yourself very much on your own, if that's how you feel, or you're an adult that doesn't have very many adult friendships, like, I get it. That is so challenging. And I think that there is something that kind of gets lost between hearing someone on a stage or someone that, has quotes all over the internet saying something to you, and like if your friend's saying it to you. So these were two really pivotal pieces of advice that I got from my friends, and I hope that they help you too, because it's kind of this idea of the more that I look, the more that I see, the more that I repeat these statements in my mind, the more true they become. And they've been with me for years. One of them has been with me for just over a year. The other has been with me for, I think, 3 years. And I remember hearing them for the first time like it was yesterday. So the first piece of advice that I got was from one of my friends, Lani. She was also my coach. So this is a coaching friend, and just taught me so much, like really burst the bubble of what my life was and opened me up to so much possibility, such as the role of coach. But I remember when she was talking to me about starting my own business and going out on my own and doing something myself and coaching one to one. And I had a lot of questions around, like, how different is it from careers guidance? Because that's what I was trained in. And she looked me dead in the eye and said, all my job is to tell you you're overthinking, you're making it harder than it is. It doesn't need to be this difficult. Let's simplify. That's it. And I was like, well, I could do that. But the more that I hear it, the more I repeat it to myself over years. I also have a recording of her saying it, to be fair, but the more true it becomes. With, I think the more that you get into the world of business and personal growth, the more nuanced you make absolutely everything, the more complex it becomes. And you forget that the answer is always going to be simple. And I experience this every single time. And this is how, like, in real time, I create strategies out of these really profound statements to me. Is whenever I feel like I'm overthinking, I'm overwhelmed, I'm making it harder than it is, then I always pull out my post-it notes and I write down the 3 to 5 things that I need to get done that day. Because the likelihood is that as an entrepreneur, you do this too, but the likelihood is I'm planning things weeks in advance. This podcast doesn't come out for 3.5 weeks. What? Like, we're so far in advance with what we do here at the CEO crowd. Like, I love to batch content, I love to be planful, that I forget sometimes the the only thing I need to do in a day that is important is the thing for that day, and that's it. The rest of it is completely optional. I think it all has to be done now because we're all like conditioned by hustle culture, but that's just like not the case. So that's a strategy that I use. And every time I do it, I tell myself, you're making it harder than it is. Simplify. Because it's absolutely accurate. When I'm overthinking, it's because I feel like there's so much going on and I can't handle all the things when I actually totally can. I just need to simplify it. And a way to do that for me is writing it down and making it very visual and making it very freaking simple. So that's the first piece of great advice that I live by. Like, I would die on this hill. I don't say that often, but I genuinely would die on that hill of you're overthinking, you just need to simplify. And the second piece of advice was I met my friend Alessia. Alessia runs a Pilates studio in Houston and is such a vibrant soul at the same time as being one of the calmest people you'll ever meet. She's a miracle to meet in real life. She's so cool. And we were in a membership together. We met at a members house party. They had a house party for all the members and we were hanging out and just getting to know each other. You know, we were getting into a new membership together, so it was cool to get to know each other. And we were in the pool. We're looking out over Lake Travis. If you've ever been to Austin, Texas, you'll know. And it's beautiful. They have this giant house, like the kind of house that has, you know, a cinema room. Like, these people were ballers and they're so nice. They're such great people. And I met Alessia at their house. So we're in the swimming pool and we're like arm on the side of the pool, you know? And I'm talking to her about what would become the CEO crowd membership. So this is over a year ago now. So I'm talking to her about what it's going to become. And I told her about all these ideas that I had. And while being so excited and holding space for that, she narrowed into this is so great. And I think that my only piece of advice when it comes to building a membership, because obviously she has a successful membership style program, albeit a brick and mortar business, she said, I think the piece of advice that I would give you is you just have to keep a pulse on your people. A pulse on your people completely shifted the direction of what I did with the CEO crowd and how it transpired over the next year. So I then went on to work with a membership specialist. So, bonus friend, her name is Becky, Build with Becky. I've spoken about her many times if you've been here before. Or if you're in the CEO crowd and you're listening to this, we talk about Becky all the time and we share a bunch of resources because her newsletter is the bomb. It's amazing. Highly recommend. And Becky, after a sprint session with me, a strategy sprint session with me, the main piece of guidance from her is always do more market research than you think you need to do. It is all around market research. It's all about taking care of your people, having a pulse on your people, knowing what they want, knowing what they like, knowing what they don't want, knowing what didn't work so that you can improve on it for next time. And it was just so hugely profound because I think a lot of coaches out there just tell you to create out of your passion and it will magically work. And for some people, 100% hands down, that will work. For other people, myself included, I need guidance. If I was to do all of the things I wanted to do, y'all, this would be such a different space to be in. We would do crazy shit all the time. And not that we don't do crazy shit a lot of the time, but it would be wild. It would be constantly fluctuating with what I was interested in. And that's not helpful for anyone. We need consistency when it comes to our businesses. And I get so much joy out of giving advice and giving business advice, and also making sure that it aligns with you. I never want my advice to be taken as gospel. I think that everything's up for debate and nuance. But this would be such a different space if I didn't listen to people. And this exact podcast came from many people saying, I just don't have any entrepreneurial friends. And they're so grateful they found us at networking. So we do networking on Mondays. If you want to join us, the link is in the description. Don't think you're not welcome. Even if you don't know me, you so are. We've created a really space of really high vibration female CEOs and entrepreneurs in this space that are just so full of heart. I'm so blessed to work with the women that I work with. It's such an honor. And it just, if I think about it, would be so different if I didn't keep a pulse on my people and care about what they need. And this podcast, like I was saying, would have been a totally different podcast if I didn't listen to people who said, I don't have entrepreneurial friends. I don't know what those relationships are like. Well, here's the best advice I got from my friends, you know? So if you want to bring this into a strategy, because I am a strategic little nugget over here, I got some big strategy energy, then something that helps me when I feel like I don't have a pulse on my people is either to communicate with my CEO members one to one in a group setting, run things past them, always doing that, asking them questions. But something you can do if you don't have a community, because I think many people don't have that community and they're like, how do I build that? Is you ask people on your social media. So something that I did recently on my social media, I asked people, how do you feel about Black Friday? It's coming up, it's in November. This will be out in October. And we're starting to think about it, or are we? So I checked in because I really care, and I'll tell you for 1 minute. But 47% of my audience said that they were already planning. Sick, you're crushing it. 20% said that they don't know where to start. And then everyone else said it's way too early. But I did ask this in early September. So just FYI. But that was many people that had it already in their mind, whether they were planning it, whether they were like, I want to do something, but I don't know where to start, whether they were like, I'm going to do something, but like not right now, sis, settle down. Then 100% of the people were thinking about it. So I did that because if you have not heard already, we have launched our Black Friday challenge. We're going to have daily co working Mondays to Fridays to help you get prepared for Black Friday. And that is a pulse on the people. Because before that, we looked at alternate options for our membership and do we want to launch retreats? And we've tested a lot of things. But Black Friday, ding, 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 we have a winner because I kept a pulse on my people and I asked and I asked and I asked and I found the right thing for them. And I asked them for their advice and what they wanted. And co-working has come up again and again and again. I'm seeing many more people do it, not only in my direct space, in terms of like the people that we influence that then go on to create their own businesses. We have a few CEO members that have gone to create their own co-working spaces in their own niche. So whether it's co-craft, whether it is co-home hangout, get work done, we've seen it in our space grow because people see the value of it when they do it. But I've seen it outside of that. I actually saw an event in Austin next month, and it's a 3-day event, and there's a whole day just for implementation. And I thought that is freaking genius because I am so sick. I don't know about you, of going to events and not being able to do the work. And when we hosted our event in Houston, we had an event in Houston, Texas in March this year. That is what we did. We implemented while we did the session. And women left with this glorious map that we also teach in our strategic CEO program. It's a live program for the women in our membership. And they left with this visual map of this is my business and this is what I have to do and an action plan to make it happen. That is so valuable. The co-work is so valuable. So we've seen a huge rise in it. So when it comes to Black Friday, and it's the thing that you put off, you put off, you put off, and then you're like, "Oh shit, last minute, excuse me if you have a child around and I just cussed," but you're like, "Oh fuck, I didn't do anything for Black Friday and now it's here. I'll just throw this together." There's been no forethought. No one in your community's heard about it, or it's not been in your podcast and everyone's like, "Where did this come from?" It's not been in your email sequences. No one has any idea. You've not spoken about it. And then instantly it's Black Friday when everyone is primed to buy. So it's a great call. But everyone's primed to buy, but they didn't know they were buying from you because you just said something last minute. And they've been being primed by everyone else. Make no mistake, they've been being primed by everyone else for months, if not at least 1 month, in terms of a whole launch. So to combat that, if you do want a few entrepreneurial friends to work alongside, to meet some cool people, and to launch like a killer Black Friday offer, then come join us at our Black Friday challenge. You will find the link in the description, and maybe you're not there with Black Friday, but entrepreneurial friends are on your heart. I just want to let you know, if you've not heard before, we do networking here at the CEO Crowd too. It's totally free. It's so much fun. And you will find those friendships. We make friendships in there every single week. Not only friendships, but clients are found, collaborations are made. It is the most special space, especially if you're looking to speak at podcasts or summits. Oh, it all goes on. So we'd love to invite you there too. The link is in the description for all the things that you need. And in the meantime, before I see you next week, I just want you to know that you do have an entrepreneurial friend. You got me. And I will always be over here believing in you.